Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. T-shirted historian. A couple days ago, I was talking to Grim about unicorns. And what are unicorns, you might ask? Well, unicorns are the unobtainable. Whether it's an item or a person you'd want to talk to, and something that you want to do that is seemingly unobtainable, mythical, legendary, something that exists, but it is just outside of your grasp for whatever reasons. And I was talking to Jim about some unicorns that I had. Most of y'all know who those unicorns are. For me, my unicorns are getting Faderhead on this channel to talk to for an interview, getting Mike Pondsmith, of course. That's my biggest unicorn, the one that I've really been going after the longest. And there's a third unicorn, and his name is Stefan Poisse, and some of you probably don't know who that is. Most of you probably think that Faderhead is my absolute favorite musician. He's not. I've told him so, to his face, so to speak, because I've talked to him on his YouTube channel. And that's not to be insulting. I love his music. I buy his music. I support him on Patreon every month. So clearly, my love for Faderhead is still just as intact as it always has been. But he's not my favorite. My favorite artist is Mind in a Box and coincidentally Ticks. These are two bands that are headed by Stefan Poisse, who is Austrian, I believe. Anyway, that's a guy I've been wanting to get on the channel to talk to interview, to talk to about his music. Because, one thing I've been wanting to do is I've been wanting to talk music and talk to musicians on this channel. I had a really good time the last time it happened, and I was hoping to repeat that experience, but of course, YouTube really inhibits a lot of ability to do anything with music through copyright claims and a copyright strike system, which frankly has been abused to levels that they really should consider investigating and retracting or modifying in some way. Besides the fact that, getting a YouTube, even if you, if you download a YouTube video and use it for the music, the quality is not going to be as good as, actually buying a digital MP3. And it's definitely not going to sound as good as an LP. So honestly, people who rip YouTube video musics, they're not getting good quality stuff. So the artists really shouldn't be worried about it. But for whatever reason, because of IP laws, corporate laws, the RIA, whatever else, YouTube slams people who use, even more than, a pubic hair worth of music from an artist. So getting back to Stefan Poisse and Mind in a Box, I was talking to Grim about that, and afterward I thought, well, why don't I try to reach out to him again? Because I tried to reach out to him before, and I never got an answer. So just on a whim, I sent him an email, and I didn't honestly expect a reply. But I got one. And it was both good and it was bad. Because the email I got, he said, thank you for the kind words. I told him, I said that his music really resonated with me because, if you don't know, Mind in a Box, the band is basically like it's an ongoing cyberpunk story told in music. And it stretches way back from years ago. And it's still ongoing. And part of it is about a place called the Dream Web. But anyway, it's like I told him, I said, his music resonated with me, and that, I said, I kind of wondered if we weren't really trapped in a box, like a mind in a box, like the Matrix or the Grid or the Dream Web. And his response was, thank you for the kind words. He said, maybe we are trapped like in the Matrix. Who knows? And then he dropped the other shoe. He said, I'm sorry, but I don't do any interviews. I know that sounds weird, but I don't feel comfortable with them anymore. I hope you understand. But let's hope there is a tomorrow. He says, I agree. The difficult times are coming. Wish you all the best. Stefan. So it was really cool for me. I mean, he didn't have to reach out, but he did. And he, replied. And yeah, I'm unhappy that, he doesn't want to do any interviews, but I respect him for that because that's his choice, and, he has his reasons. He's not comfortable with it. And it was nice just hearing from him that he wouldn't, that he didn't want to do the interviews. I mean, at least I know I was heard. And I guess that's all I really want from some of these other guys too. When I asked Kevin Crawford to do an interview years ago, he also said that he doesn't do any interviews. And I said, that's fine. I left it at that. And there's something that's satisfying about that because, if these guys are not going to do interviews, then you're not really missing out on anything, because it's not like they're going to tell anybody else. It's not going to give an interview to anybody else and steal your thunder or give away something that you really wanted. Which is kind of why I really hope that someday I will get a response from Mike Pondsmith or from Faderhead. Something that, definitively says, I'm not going to do an interview or whatever. Even if Mike Pondsmith writes me an email back and says, F you, that's fine. I mean, at least I'll know how he feels. At least I'll know, that'll be like, okay, well, I tried. It's better to get rejected and have that certainty from knowing that you got rejected, that there's a definite answer one way or the other. Because right now, all I'm doing is, trying to talk to other intermediaries to get to talk to him and not hearing anything back. Or I'm emailing the company and I'm not hearing anything back. And it's frustrating because I don't know if the letters are getting to him. I don't know if they're being intercepted by some functionary at the company who just looks at, my emails and says, haha, throws it into the spam box or whatever and ignores it. I hate to think so. I hate to think that our Talsorian Games thinks so much of themselves that they, would hide all the correspondence or throw away all the correspondence that goes to Mike Pondsmith. I think that would be really disingenuous of the company. I mean, even if I was kind of a recluse and didn't want to talk to people, I would at least like somebody to get my emails to me to let me know so I could reject it out of hand, or I could tell, whoever that functionary is, hey, just send them a rejection letter and go on. Stefan Poisse took the time to tell me no. Kevin Crawford took the time to tell me no. Mike Pondsmith, if you don't want to do an interview, that's fine. Just tell me no, and I'll be happy, and I won't bug you again. I will let that unicorn go. I'll let it run free and just accept the fact that that's a unicorn that I can stop chasing. I can go find another unicorn to chase. But until I know for sure, I just have to keep chasing and have to keep hoping that, maybe he'll hear me one day. Maybe he'll stop being so elusive. He'll take a moment to look back and and say something. Because that's all I really want, you know? If you're not going to do the interview, that's fine. Tell me you're not going to do the interview. Don't just leave me hanging. That's so much worse. Because if you leave me hanging, you're giving me hope. And hope is a really powerful tool, one way or the other. And anyway, here's hoping that you guys are having a great week, or that you had a great week, and that you're going to have another good one. And here's hoping that we have good things on the horizon. In fact, I know I've got some good things on the horizon because one of my favorite people is here today. Miss Harmony Ginger.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm pretty good.
It is a long time. How have you been?
Yeah, I've been great. Been kind of doing things a little bit on my own, focusing on my games for a little bit. But yeah, I'm happy to be back.
Well, I'm glad, and I'm glad you've survived all the stuff going on down there.
Oh, yeah, it took me a minute to remember what you were talking about, but yeah, that was pretty rough.
We got a Grim also.
Hello.
Hello.
Pardon, I have to enforce the no cats on the desk rule.
Mm-hmm.
Be careful hunting unicorns that you don't catch a unicron. That's all.
Oh, catching a unicron would be kind of neat, though, wouldn't it?
For 5 seconds.
For 5 seconds, yeah. Let's see. Engine Joe, hey, man, it's good to see you. He says, you were blacklisted by anybody doing WotC Dragonlance. They poisoned the well on my channel a long time ago. Their product is garbage. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I played a few sessions in a WotC Dragonlance game. I guess last year. It was the DM was good, but man, it wasn't a great translation of Dragonlance.
I think that's the problem. It's a translation, and it was a translation that did not have the author's explicit input or anything.
Yeah. I remember. Go ahead.
You ever tried reaching out to any famous people or influential people or heroes?
Me?
Harmony? Yeah.
Reaching out for like. Yeah, I have. I totally have. Yeah. Sometimes it works. I remember I got a fairly big YouTuber on my channel at one point by just bantering with her on Twitter. But I mean, as far as getting responses from some of them, well, I don't think we want to hear that drama. It was fairly. I think we all know the my latest bout of that. All right, cat. I'm sorry. My cat has discovered that she can get my attention by hiding behind my monitor. This might be an entire stream deal.
Mommy.
Yeah.
Well, just by the way, kind of an update for anybody who follows Ralts, one of our fellow panelists, friend of mine. As you guys may have heard, from the Tuesday stream, yeah, Ralts is in the hospital. He's going to be laid up for 2 or 3 weeks while he's getting better. He contacted me today, and he said that he's in the ICU still, but he says he's overdoing good. He says,
I see it.
So he says he's doing better today. They're changing tubes and stuff, fixing some wiring, literally fixing some wiring. So, and I'm guessing he means like, heart monitors and stuff like that. So he's still pretty positive about everything, and I'm glad. He looks pretty rough from the pictures he posts up on Twitter, but what the hell, man? Nobody looks good in the hospital. So
speak for yourself. I looked amazing.
I hadn't seen you, but
there's a reason I didn't post hospital selfies last year.
Yeah, we got a $5 Mercurius Aulicus sticker. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you. You're like the only reason I get paid, sir. You're like the only reason I get paid. Let me see. What have I got for you?
That's not true. I sent you money yesterday.
Oh, yes, but I earned that. This is a donation.
Curious what you did to earn it. Actually, I'm not. Don't tell me. I'm better off not knowing.
No, actually, you're better off knowing because you might interview me about it someday. Because although when you hear the title, you're going to say, on second thought, but I wrote a book. I wrote a book for Grimm that is a supplement for his Machinations of the Space Princess game, which is actually, I think, one of Grimm's better works. It's a little underappreciated, but people are starting to pick up on it because it is OSR compatible. It's also a lot of fun. It's a good system. And he had an older supplement out that I read, and I thought, this is too thin. This is too thin. It's not comprehensive enough, and I can do better. So I took his old book, and I folded it into a much larger book. And we added an index to it, and I did all the illustrations on the inside for it. And we sold it, or we're selling it, and then Grimm went and kept the title the same, which galled me to no end.
Tough.
Grimm, you want to tell her?
Well, it's sex bots.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't interview about that one.
See?
Nope.
Yeah. It's a good book. It's not, I
believe
it has
you.
nothing, it has nothing necessary. Well, I mean, it has everything to do with that particular subject, but it also deals with all kinds of robots and things.
I'm sure it does. I believe you that it's great.
It would have been misleading to change the title.
I don't think so. Because I expanded it so far beyond its original scope.
Wait. You could have changed the title.
Yeah, Grimm could have changed the title.
No, you could have changed the title, but you were waiting on Grimm to tell you to change the title. Is that what I understand? Do I understand that correctly?
No, I suggested several.
Okay. And he said, go with space bots. Okay. Sex bots.
Yeah. No, I suggested several alternative titles, and Grimm just poo-pooed all those and just went with sex bots. So now, it doesn't sell well.
So we have Grimm to blame.
Yes, it's all the title. Of course.
It's all the title, man. If the title had been something more punchy, I guarantee it would have sold more. But you know what? The nice thing is, in my putting out that little add-on piece, it helped him sell some more Machinations of the Space Princess books.
That's true. Yeah.
So,
but the money I sent you was actually for what you were doing by the dumpsters behind Arby's. That had nothing to do with the book.
Oh. Well, $15 is $15, man.
I know. It's good of you to get rid of bodies for people like that. So,
well, somebody has to clean up the garbage. Anyway, let's see. Mercurius is still waiting on his prize for his super sticker. So, since Ironcaster's not here, let's do Monkey Land.
Come with me to Monkey Land.
There we go.
But it's no fun if it doesn't cause him pain.
Okay, you're right. Well, I don't want to do every fantasy world as like Los Angeles because that's too long.
No, it goes forever.
I've never done this one before.
You are made of stupid.
But,
appropriate.
Yeah, that was me.
I apologize for my situation here. I have a cat who is desperately trying to make as much noise and cause as many problems as possible.
George, the story of the passive-aggressive editor.
My cats are all discombobulated because fireworks are already going off for the 5th. So.
All right.
Thankfully, she went over there, so I think we're good.
Well, all right, let's get into some stuff that's happened this week. And to introduce us to kind of what has been happening this week and some of the previous weeks, I have borrowed Kael's opening, which he's another YouTuber. He's a much bigger YouTuber than me, and in my opinion, probably a much better YouTuber than me. But I'm not above shilling for a bigger guy. So I'm going to say this: if you do subscribe to his channel, let him know who sent you if you like it. But yeah, we'll let him rap to us about what happened this week.
By reviews, Cole Canary, Professor It, Firewalk from Derry, Concord was short lifespan shorter than a housefly, Sony burns 400 million, Lieutenant Surge leads the gym for million, you learned cut from SS and was 2 weeks a part of your plan, surgical gash and it smells like poo, Concord's Gaming's Joker 2, Pantheon solidification, gaming's worst, brace for cremation, a little too queer so I sound the alarm, Twitch bans Dragon Age streamers for self-harm, dyed hair developers dismissed, DEI rest in piss, you will not be missed, Dragon Age consultants from Kotaku, born a man but dyed their hair blue, it's all just one big coincidence, smaller audience, bigger influence, I'm under, makes you wonder, Kael rip tear that ass asunder, like a piece of paper call me Mifflin Dunder, you missed the lightning, here comes the thunder, don't save ha, it don't wanna be saved, don't save ha, don't reload this save, don't save ha. It don't wanna be saved, don't save ha. It don't wanna be saved.
There you go. Yeah, he's good. He's so good. He comes up with these raps all the time based on the stuff that's happening every week.
Did either of you actually play the new Dragon Age?
No, I did not even buy it. However, I spent all morning watching Heels versus Babyface as playing it.
The scenes that were hitting Twitter, they were making people so angry that I actually thought that perhaps the first ones were good, because this was like an RPG series I completely missed out on. I never played any of the Dragon Ages. So I had Dragon Age Origins like on my Steam, like someone gifted it to me maybe 10 years ago or something. And I've downloaded it and actually started my first playthrough of Dragon Age Origins because of all this. And so I have to say I am quite liking this because I'm discovering Dragon Age Origins and I'm having a great time with it.
Origins is amazing. I actually went back and replayed it not too long ago. Although I have noticed that it is a lot more crashalicious now than it was way back in the day. Probably because it was built on.
Yeah,
there is a steep decline in the games.
Yeah.
Oh no. Steep. Oh wait, I thought you meant through Origins. Yeah, I'm actually really liking
Origins. Is great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm liking Origins.
Origins is epic. You will love it. You will probably replay it 2 or 3 times just to try to romance all the characters, to get all their options out of them and hear what they have to say. And it's a great game. It's like a prototype for some of the best games that you have today. And something that's important to note about Dragon Age Origins is it actually took racial and species differences into account in its game creation, because as you progress through the game and you talk to the different races in the different areas, you find out what some of the problems, the trials, and the tribulations of various races are. Like surface dwarves versus the underground dwarves. And then there's 2 kinds of dwarves. There's 2 castes, because there's a caste system in Dwarven society. There's the elves, who are also split between the city elves, who are basically second-class citizens, and the wild elves, who are kind of trying to live in the shadow of their past.
And are all Welsh.
Well,
yeah,
I played a human mage, so I had to go through the mage trials. And that's where I learned that my newer computer could was having trouble with the old graphics because I
Mhm.
had completed the mage trials completely before I even realized that the sloth demon wasn't supposed to be a red and green neon mess. And so it was messing up a lot of the colors and making them like bright and neon. And I thought that was just part of the what was it called? The harrowing. I thought it was part of that. I didn't realize that my game was messed up, so that's when I had to download a patch for it. And it's kind of helped, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm not very far in yet.
And that's another thing that's interesting too, is the way that they approach the magic. You know, with the what are they called? The guys who are basically removed of all emotions and everything. What are they? They settled or something?
I don't know.
I forgot. You'll find out what it is if you're playing a mage. And of course, there's the
Not very
blood
far in.
mages.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, I'm gonna do the healer mage because I'm a girl. But anyway, something I noticed was this was like a 2010 game. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because it seemed so influenced by early World of Warcraft, like with the action bar system. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, that did have a massive change to like every RPG tried to be early World of Warcraft back between 24 to like 2012 or something. 24? Did I say 24? 2004. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, no, that's actually it's kind of funny. Dragon Age Origins is how I got one of my ex-girlfriends to play World of Warcraft, because I was having fun with Dragon Age Origins, and I bought her a copy to enjoy, and the two of us would play through it and discuss the storylines and everything, and she ended up, researching the hell out of it and started educating me on Dragon Age, which I thought was funny. And as we were progressing through our separate games, I kept telling her about World of Warcraft. I kept saying, it's like, if you like this, you'll really like the story in World of Warcraft, because World of Warcraft was good at the time.
Yeah. Wait, in 2010, World of Warcraft was good?
Actually, I think it. Well, let's see. When did Dragon Age Origins come out? I don't think it was 2010, was it?
I thought it was 2010. I could be wrong.
I think it's earlier than that.
Let's see.
I want to say it's like 2004 or something.
Yeah.
2009.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
yeah,
you're pretty.
Yeah, no, WoW wasn't good then. But
I liked WoW back then, but
I stopped playing in Wrath of the Lich King. I thought that's when the decline started. I thought it was like really good from 2004 to about 2007.
I agree, because Wrath of the Lich King was kind of like the height for me.
Oh yeah, no, I stopped during Wrath. I didn't like it. But anyway, I know we're not talking about World of Warcraft. This was supposed to be about the new Dragon Age, right?
Yeah. And in any case, yeah. Dragon Age Origins is great. It just absolutely is. Yes, it's hard as hell. The combat system is difficult, and a few times you're going to find fights where you're just going, I hate this so much. I hate this beyond all belief. I don't want to do this. In fact, that's one of the only things that ever bothered me about doing multiple playthroughs is the difficulty of the fights, because they can be very swingy in one direction or another. And they can go south very, very quickly. But the story is so good, the characters are so good, and the things that you can do in the game they feel impactful. Which is really the important thing, because to me, it felt like one of the first games that really gave you a lot of agency. But,
yeah, and you could tell. Go ahead.
As to say, that was BioWare's thing, but they couldn't stick the landing, I don't think. Whereas with Mass Effect, it took the third game for them to fuck up. I think they started fucking up from the second Dragon Age. Someone was saying there that Inquisition, which I think was Dragon Age 3, wasn't it, was one of their favorites. I think it has a more cohesive story, but the game itself really suffers by the third one. The second one lacks a properly cohesive story, but the characters are so good and the moments are so good that I kind of forgive Dragon Age 2 and I don't forgive Dragon Age 3.
I am going to say this. Dragon Age Origins is the best, hands down. There's no denying this. Dragon Age 2 sucked sweaty gym balls, because it did. It was terrible. I absolutely hated it. I hated a named voiced protagonist. I hated the story. I hated how simplified the combat had become to the point where it was just a blow through. It was just something to do. There was absolutely nothing about Dragon Age 2 that I enjoyed. It felt like a slog through the entire game. Dragon Age 3 was way better. And despite the fact that it was way bigger than both of the other two, it felt more diluted because it felt like a lot of it was artificially stretched out to make you
shallow.
Yeah.
Greg's backstage.
She is. Yes, she is.
Yes.
Hi, Greg.
Yo, how's it going?
Hey, Greg.
Hello.
Ooh, new avatar.
That's my Godzilla version of my standard dragon.
I like it. Question: is Dragon Age 3 and Dragon Age Inquisition, are those the same games, or are those two names for a different game? Okay.
No, same game.
Okay.
So, honestly, there's Dragon Age Origins, and then there's the immediate sequel, which I forget what it's called, but it builds off of Origins. Yeah, do those, and stick with those, and just enjoy those.
I will.
Or play the TTRPG. Because the world building from the original stuff is still good. So
yeah, Awakening. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I have a friend who's been trying to get me to play Dragon Age Origins for years now, and this finally gave me the excuse to get around to play it. Because, I mean, I can tell how well loved the old games are in the series just by how angry people are now.
Oh man, you wouldn't believe
because
it.
If it was a franchise no one cared about, nobody would care when EA did what they're doing. So,
oh yeah.
And
one of the things that'll make you really mad is the fact that, everything that you do in Dragon Age Origins and Awakening can be saved, and the choices that you made and all the things that you did have an effect on Dragon Age 2, because you can use the save in Dragon Age 2. You don't play the same characters, but the choices you made make a difference in how Dragon Age 2's story plays out.
Well, that's really cool.
And everything you did in Dragon Age 2, that story also has effects in Dragon Age 3 or Inquisition. So it's a building process. So what these geniuses have decided to do is eliminate all that, because now Veilguard doesn't care what you did. Absolutely.
It has been a while, to be fair.
It has been a while, but those of us who, had saves from back then, and because Steam Cloud is a thing. We can't. None of our choices made a difference in Veilguard.
Do they let you remake the choices at the beginning, like they have in other games occasionally?
Not to my knowledge.
It asks you, did you rescue so and so? Yes, no. Did you take this side? Yes, no.
You're asking me a question about something I haven't played.
You watched someone else play it.
I didn't watch him play it from the beginning. I wasn't that lucky, but I know he had a lot of fun with the character creator, and God, if you see his character, it's like, Jesus. Honestly, that's about the best thing you can say for Veilguard is the character creator, and yet it's also the worst thing because it doesn't actually let you create women. Like, I don't know, I guess they just hate women because you can only make them of a certain dimension.
What you mean is you can't give them a juicy booty and big norks. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, basically they look like cardboard cutout women. Yeah. So yeah, Harmony, if you were wanting to play Dragon Age Veilguard and play anything that resembles you in real life, no, you don't.
Yeah, sad. No, I mean, so I haven't seen that much on Veilguard. All I've seen are the clips that everyone has seen that have gone viral. I don't know. It could be a good game aside from that. So I'm withholding judgment, but
the hit detection system doesn't work worth a shit because I watched Az get hit with stuff constantly that wasn't even aimed at him or was occurring kind of within his general vicinity, but didn't actually hit his character. So, but he was still taking the damages and stuff from it. So the hit detection system is crap. You don't actually get to control your party at all. You can kind of give them orders, and they'll just kind of like AI follow it to their best of their abilities, but you can't like pause and direct the combat like you do in the first one. You're pretty much just running your character, and you're hoping that your AI PCs can do the job, whoever you choose.
So dumbing it down a fair bit then.
Yeah. I watched things like Az get healed, but the healing didn't take any effect. And just various other things. The dialogue's horrible.
That's what I've seen in the new and the clips that I'm sure everybody has seen. It just seems like they're preaching to you, which is odd because I've also been watching one of my friends play through Dragon Age Origins, and he's playing a dwarf, right? And cool. I can tell from that, like the old game seemed to be relatively diverse already, without preaching to people about it. From what I saw watching his playthrough, there was a fairly prominent dwarf character, at least it was prominent in his game, that had pretty severe mental disabilities. And you don't really, and he was treated by the game with a good amount of respect. And you don't really see that a lot. Yeah, him. Sandal? Was that right? It was named after a shoe.
Sandal.
Yeah, I just remember shoe. But anyway.
I love Sandal.
So, I mean, the game seemed to be pretty diverse already without preaching to us about accepting people different than ourselves. Whereas the new game, all I'm seeing are clips coming out about people coming out as non-binary or doing push-ups when they misgender someone. And it just seems very in your face, preachy. Like, I don't care if there's a trans or non-binary character in the game. I really don't. Yeah. But it feels very preachy, like a sermon.
It feels very put upon. Like that's their whole identity, and there's a dearth of identity politics that are somehow more important than the other events happening in the game.
Right.
But the dialogue itself is terrible. Like there's literally a scene between your main character Rook and the dwarf Harden where she says, "I could kiss you. I am going to kiss you." And then she kisses you. Yes, that I'm not making that. I mean, yes, I am kind of paraphrasing a little bit because I can't remember the exact dialogue, but that's pretty close to the actual dialogue. And it's almost delivered that same way.
I can see what they were going for. It's like, I could kiss you. I'm going to kiss you. And then, and then, the delivery would make it work. But
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Can't say that would do it for me.
Yeah, it just ain't good. It just ain't good. And anyway, the Steam sales apparently are not doing so great on it. I mean, it's got to sell a shitload of copies if it's going to make its money back.
Yeah, I saw it was not anywhere near hitting any of the great hits in the past couple years. Baldur's Gate 3, Elden Ring, and I don't know, there were others. I saw it was falling quite lackluster compared to them. However, I'm not sure what the expectation was.
I don't think there's going to be a fantasy game that's going to be able to touch Baldur's Gate 3 for a long time because they hit the bar so high on that one. And it's so well beloved by everybody who played it that, that one's going to be hard to dethrone as an RPG king.
Yeah, they were saying one of the big differences between Baldur's Gate 3 and the new Veilguard is in Baldur's Gate 3, it has kind of some of the same. Actually, I can't remember if there's like a transgender character in it or not. I'm not sure. I don't remember that. But it has like a lot of the some similar ideology, but the player can choose to react to it however you want. Somebody posted on Twitter, like you can behead the most beloved character in the game and the game will go on and it'll just let you do that. Whereas in Dragon Age Veilguard, it's not the same and you're sort of pigeonholed into accepting whatever they say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was a good illustration of the difference between the games. But I say this not having played Veilguard. It could be that the game's amazing and the only parts I'm seeing are like the worst parts. So I'm withholding full judgment, or I'm trying to at least.
Well, I mean, when the game emphasizes, putting mastectomy scars on your character versus giving them, at least a average female bust line and hip size, there's something not right about that. I mean, it's like they're just removing women and replacing them.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
Me too. Because I mean, I play a lot of games, and I like to play women, and I like to play pretty women because it's a fantasy, Yeah. I don't want to play like someone who's not pretty. Like in a fantasy game with me, while I understand that sometimes that yes, not all women are beautiful and less beautiful women exist, and it's fine to represent them in games. I want to play a pretty woman because it's a fantasy for me, like in the same way that a lot of men want to play Conan.
Mm-hmm.
I like playing The Witcher 3, in large part because your character got hit on by women.
Yeah.
Which is something you don't normally see in a lot of games. Usually it's you doing weird side quests and things. So it's like insert rare magical object, get sex in a lot of old BioWare games and things. But in this, people were commenting on your appearance and flirting with you and so on. And that's also woven into the storyline because witches are infertile. So you can have a good time with a Witcher and not run the risk, which makes sense in a medieval society. So, yeah, I thought that was really good, and a different sort of approach.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, okay, it's an older game, and really calling it a game at this point is kind of a misnomer because it's really more of a chat application with graphics. But if anybody remembers the old Second Life, which, by the way, Philip Linden, by the way, just came back to Second Life, so that's cool.
I haven't thought about Second Life in years.
Well, I'm still active on it, but one thing I'll say, and I mean, I've said this in game or in Second Life more than once, and that is, there are no ugly people in Second Life unless it is by choice. Because that's usually the first thing you do. I mean, it's like, your default avatar notwithstanding, as soon as you get a chance to start customizing your avatar to make it look the way you want it to, 9 times out of 10, they don't look ugly unless either A, you're not trying to take it too seriously, or you're just having fun or whatever. But for the most part, if the characters that you see in Second Life, they're going to be pretty. And that's just the way it is. So it's kind of an obvious choice. It's like,
I think part of that is because Second Life is mass multiplayer, and with Second Life, you have to think about how you come off to another person rather than this is the type of character I want to play in a single player experience. So I think there's some difference there.
There is a little bit, I'm sure, because you're dealing with actual people. But the point is, I think that given your druthers, most people would rather play attractive characters versus, repugnant ones.
Oh, certainly.
I mean, I've seen plenty of Elden Ring playthroughs where, the streamer is just, having a good time. So they just make the ugliest or weirdest looking character they possibly can and go through Elden Ring and just destroy bosses and everything else. And that's cool. I mean, because that's just for fun. But I think for most people, if they're going to sit down and take a game kind of seriously and get into it, they're going to want to play someone that they can at least, bear to look at for 8 to 12 to 24 hours,
Oh, absolutely.
So, I don't know. Just take it with whatever you want. But anyway, Greg, how's your campaign doing?
Slow,
but you hit your goals, right?
Yeah, I hit my goals. It's just not climbing very much higher than that for some reason.
Well, how many more days you got left on it?
14.
14. So I'm reading that you have hit 5,895 of the pledged $5,000 goal.
That's right.
Okay. I'm going to drop the link here in the chat for everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Uh-huh. And as a matter of fact,
I'm going to reshare it.
Yeah, good idea. And I'm going to put the screen up for a minute because I've got something to show everybody. Because I wanted to make sure that I got this before. But yeah, this is Greg's game, Titans of Fallen Earth, Kaiju versus Mecha. I've already backed it, of course, and I backed it at the big one at 50.
Yes, thank you.
Oh yeah, you knew it. You knew it. I'm going to support my friends. But you can back it for as little as $10. You can back it for 30 and still get a nice hardcover book out of it. And when I say nice, I mean nice.
Nice.
I'm not disappointed. I'm just a little perplexed as to why it's not. I thought it would be like Soren.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, man. We generally call October Broketober. And that is for a reason. That's because that's when all the video games are coming out. That's when all the Kickstarters are coming out. So it's very hard to necessarily get people to commit to all of your stuff in October.
Oh, yeah. That's probably true.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But
I just found out Lulu had been withholding like a couple of grand from me, and then instantly my laptop has pretty much died. So that's all gone again now on a replacement laptop. Easy come, easy go.
Well, in any case, there's 15 more days to go on this. If you're out there in YouTube land and you haven't backed this and you want to, and I recommend it because we talked about it last week. Watch our show from last week if you want to catch up and find out what it's all about. We talked about it extensively, but you still have a chance to back it. Please do. But also,
like Magnificent Devil says, you get most of your pledges at the beginning and at the end. And you're funded, so I reckon you'll probably get quite a few at the end. You might get to 8K, maybe more, depends.
That's quite fine.
Yeah. But the other Kickstarter I want to mention just popped up not too long ago, and I already posted it on Twitter, so most of you already know this. And everybody out there in the audience, it's time for you to drink because Kevin Crawford has just put Ashes Without Number up on Kickstarter with 28 days to go. And just like normal, he blew right through his goals pretty quick. He normally doesn't offer stretch goals, but he might on this. I haven't really looked at the stretch goals. I didn't even care. It was a Kevin Crawford book. I knew I wanted it, so I've already taken a look at the stuff he had posted up on Reddit for it. And basically what it is Ashes Without Number is his post-apocalypse toolbox, which means it will help you simulate and play anything that is apocalyptical, from zombie apocalypses to mutant apocalypses to whatever. And like all the other Without Numbers games, they all kind of fit together. So you can mix and match them as you like. But it is a toolbox. So even if, you're going to get more out of it if you do something that is OSR or similar to OSR. But even if you don't, Crawford always includes a ton of random generation tables that are insanely useful for any kind of game you're going to do. And in this case, it's specifically generated apocalypse stuff. So what I'm expecting is ruin generation, maybe building generation, street generation, city generation, that kind of stuff. So you'll be able to generate these things and whip them up quickly for game sessions. At least that's what I'm hoping. But I'll know more after he gets funded and starts putting out updates. But, I went for the $80 Neo American pledge because it's got the the DRM free PDF, the Smithsonian offset print hardback copy, because it's worth it. $25, you can get the DRM free copy delivered through Drive-Thru RPG. That's the PDF. For $40, you can do the POD through Drive-Thru RPG. And now he has options for non-US nations, so maybe Grimm can actually get it himself now.
I'm not backing any more Kickstarters for a while.
No? Not even this one?
Not even this one, until I get some of the stuff I've backed previously come through.
That's fair. Well, anyway.
It's cool, though.
Yeah.
I guess there's not really much information about it right there.
There really isn't a lot of information about it.
It's like Kevin Crawford, post-apocalypse.
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of
Shut
like
up and take my money.
Yeah. I mean, it's
enough
just
information. You know what you're getting.
yeah.
Pretty much.
You've seen all his other Without Numbers books, and like I said, if you want to check out kind of like a preview of it, he's got stuff posted up to Reddit, which is the only place that he does post. Like I said, he doesn't do interviews, but yeah, I figured this is like, it's going to sell itself. It obviously has. So he's got 2,000 backers already, and he's only 28 days into it, or he's got 28 days to go on it. So there you go. But can you play as a Shiro robot, Greg?
I'm actually not quite sure what that is.
Uh-oh. Tapani, you're going to have to send him an email or post or something in order to tell him about it so he can include it.
What is that?
What?
Shiro robot.
I don't know. Ask Tapani. Just type it in the chat. Oh, here you go. Have you seen RoboGeisha? I saw it a long time ago.
Oh man, that's a good one. That's up there with Tokyo Gore Police and Gothic Lolita Psycho and
Yakuza Weapon.
And that murderous version of baseball as a film for that as well.
Yakuza Weapon has the best weapon ever, though. The guy actually has like a naked android chick who's actually a gun. So yeah, she's shooting bullets out of her orifices. Yeah, that's the nicest way I'm gonna say it, because yeah, it's Japanese and it's funny. But anyway, yeah, we watch a lot of weird stuff around here.
I've noticed.
Weirder the better.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I did get a bunch of really good scary Halloween movies, so I'm looking forward to going through those. Oh man, let's see. I got Werewolf with what's that guy's name? Benicio del Toro and Anthony Hopkins, because I hadn't seen it yet. I got Three Terrifier.
The Oliver Reed one.
It is. I've got both of the Terrifier movies plus the Hallows Eve movie, because I have never seen any of those, and I'm told that the kills are spectacular. I did get an old Larry Cohen film called Return to Salem's Lot, because I'm a big Salem's Lot fan, and it's not very good. But I'm just being honest, it's not very good, but it's, hey.
Bad films can be good in their own way. Unless they're trying to be not good, in which case it doesn't work.
No, I think this one was trying to be good, but I think their budget was so small that literally they couldn't do much with it. Although it did, I was kind of surprised to find out that one of the young actresses in it, and I mean, like, she's only like 10 or 12 years old, was Tara Reid. So I got to see like 10 or 12-year-old Tara Reid be a vampire, and that was kind of cute. I mean, she's a pretty woman, so.
I think the Wolfman was part of that era where they were trying to do a cinematic universe out of the Universal monsters, and they had the Tom Cruise mummy.
Yep.
and they had Dracula
Dracula.
Untold.
Yep. That's
And
what it
there
was.
was the Frankenstein with the one guy who was Harvey Dent. Not Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
And I forget his name.
That one was good. Aaron, what's his name?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron
That was a good one.
Eckhart.
Aaron Eckhart, yeah. That was a good one.
None of
I did
those movies are good.
I did finally pick up a Blu-ray copy of Devil's Rejects, unrated, because, God, that movie is so good. I saw that in the theater. Jesus Christ, that movie was good.
I do enjoy that.
Yeah. What else did I get? I got Brain Dead, the old Peter Jackson zombie film.
Yeah.
Classic.
I kick ass for the Lord.
I kick ass for the Lord. Yeah, that and using a lawnmower to kill a bunch of zombies. Come on.
Jonathan
That movie
Frost.
was.
Yeah.
What?
The lawnmower scene is ridiculous.
It is, but it was so much fun.
So you got the Brain Dead version, not the Dead Alive version.
Yeah, I have
You
the
got
Dead
one?
Alive. I have the Dead Alive version on DVD. But I have, but this is Brain Dead. I had to order it from Spain to get it.
Because they changed the name for the North American market for some reason. I don't
Because
know.
there's already a movie called Brain Dead that had Bill Paxton in it.
Okay. So Bill Paxton has precedence.
Yeah, well, And hang on a second. I do have one I don't mind showing off on camera. Just a sec.
And Jonathan Frost says, watch Dario Argento's Dracula for a truly bad horror movie.
I have it.
I would say to watch any Dario Argento movie for a truly bad horror movie. But
Yep. Nope, I have it.
get me crucified.
I also picked up X. I haven't seen it yet. And I got this one, which was... I've been looking for this for a long time.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah.
This is the film.
This is the Brian Usna H.P. Lovecraft Necronomicon movie, which was backed by Japanese money, and it never really got much of a release here in the United States. Finding a DVD is almost impossible, so I had to get this one from Germany. But
it shows up late at night on satellite TV occasionally.
I'm guessing you have a region-free player T-shirt.
Of course I do. I have to.
I do not.
Yeah. Mine was actually pretty cheap. So, I got a region-free DVD player, and so I watch all these foreign films on my DVD player.
I don't even really understand what the point of the regions is anymore. Anyway,
I don't either.
Inconvenience to the consumer.
Basically, it's probably just some licensing crap as much as anything else. But in any case,
in business.
Yeah, I guess.
Yo ho ho.
Yo ho ho. But yeah, I love that Necronomicon movie because it's it's so over the top, gory, and just full of all kinds of great special effects. I think Screaming Mad George worked on that one, and I love his work.
What is Harmony's favorite horror movie?
Does she have one?
My favorite horror. Oh, I love horror movies.
Ooh.
Oh, that's really hard because I watch a lot of them though.
Tell us.
Oh boy, my favorite horror movie of all time. I really like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, classics. But
I know,
you like the originals, right? Not the new one.
I haven't seen the new ones, so I guess the original one. It's so I don't even really like slashers. I always like the ghost movies. I like Poltergeist too. Does that count? Poltergeist isn't really horror.
Mm-hmm.
That's not horror.
Mm-hmm.
It's barely horror. And
the clown,
okay.
Yeah, it's horror. Okay.
So I'm also gonna say the 1980s remake of The Blob.
Yes,
I love that movie for some reason.
That is a good one. No, that is a good one.
The phone booth scene really got me.
And they kill the kid, which never happens in movies.
Yeah.
So that's really effective. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, Malachi said Alien and Aliens. Those were really good. I don't think
those are good.
I love Aliens. Aliens is one of my favorite movies of all time, but I don't think it's a horror movie. Alien is.
Alien is.
I don't think Aliens is a horror movie. It's one of my favorite ones. Yeah, I'm gonna say like I really like the '80s Blob movie.
I do too.
I don't know if I consider it my absolute favorite, but that's the
no,
one that comes.
I love that one. I like the guy reaching into the garbage disposal, because after seeing that, I never ever put my hand anywhere near those things again.
Oh,
I
permanently-
really like the ending, and I wish they had gone on to do a sequel.
Yes.
To it, with the whole tent revival thing and the blob and the partially dissolved preacher.
Uh-huh.
That would have been good.
Uh-huh. I like the scene where the dude is trying to grope his date, and it turns out that she's been blobbed.
I don't even remember that scene.
Yeah, the dude basically he Mickey'd her, or he roofied her, and so she's like passed out in his car, and well, the blob got to her, and so he starts trying to do some petting and some non-consensual groping, and the blob gets him for it.
There are a couple Korean and Japanese horror movies I also really enjoy that I would put up there. Like I really liked, there was this one about this lake monster that I can't remember the name of, but I always think of that as like one of my favorites, even though I can never remember the name. The Host, that's it. I really love that one. But that's more of a monster movie, I think, than a horror movie. I don't know.
Okay.
Gosh, I watched so many of them. I have a lot of friends that like horror movies, so.
What about Train to Busan?
Oh, I did a read along to that one on a flight because the person in front of me was watching it, and so he put subtitles on, and I watched that through a whole flight, but only with subtitles with no audio. So it seemed alright.
Tetsuo the Iron
really
Man.
A zombie fan, though.
Oh, I love zombie movies.
I don't really like zombie movies. To me they just seem so samey. I can't.
It doesn't matter.
I can't tell you which zombie movies I've seen and which I haven't seen because they're like all the same. I like found footage movies though.
Okay. I
love found footage horror.
The king of found footage movies, in my opinion, is Cannibal Holocaust.
I like horror movies that don't lean too heavily on gore because I'm extremely squeamish and I have to look away.
Not me.
Or otherwise, I feel sick. So
Harmony probably still hasn't watched that movie I recommended like 3 years ago.
Which one?
Me?
Lake Mungo. Yeah.
I have though. That was the one about the girl that I absolutely have. I couldn't remember who recommended it to me. But yes. No, that was the one about the girl who was in the back of the photographs and stuff. I don't want to give too much away because that one was that was a psychological horror experience. I really liked that one.
Yeah, that one's good. Mm-hmm. That one's found footage and it's a ghost story. So
that was more of a documentary, but I hadn't heard of that until you brought it up to me. I couldn't even remember who it was that recommended it to me. I just put it on a list and ended up watching it. Yeah.
Nice. And Malachi, The Thing. Now, when we talk about The Thing, I'm assuming you're talking about the new one, not the original 80s one, right? But, because, the 80s, the John Carpenter Thing is my absolute favorite horror film. It is, like, pretty much my second favorite film of all time, ever.
It used to be my favorite horror movie, but I've seen it just too many times, and I got a little burnt out on it.
I don't care. I've watched it so many times. And Malachi, it is a remake. It is a remake of the original Howard Hawks film Thing from Another World. So the Carpenter version is a remake. But it's still awesome.
And that Hammer film about the weird vegetable monster on a train is actually also a version of the original short story Thing from Another World.
Ah.
But it's very loose, but quite fun in its own way.
See, I'm one of like the two horror fans that The Thing didn't do much for me. I see it, for some reason. I think horror is. Everyone has like a hugely different opinion on horror based on like what actually scares them, and to me, shapeshifters don't really do it for me. I like ghosts and like demons and unknowable things. I'm kind of more of an eldritch horror person, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know the thing has like some eldritch horror in it, but yeah, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, so, horror's weird for me. I like the idea of horror films. When I sit down to watch them, I tend to get bored, or I find jump scares to be incredibly cheap and not a lot of fun. So I quite like the kind of anthology films, like someone mentioned Creepshow, or
that was a good one.
Yeah, Twilight Zone or Outer Limits. They did film versions of those as well, or little short films that people put together. I posted one of my favorites in the private chat. I think
Jane Doe
that's just more effective. I think
Jane Doe is a creepy as hell film. If you haven't seen that one actually got me a little bit. So you should definitely check that one out, Harmony.
Is that the autopsy?
Yes, where they're autopsying the witch.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That one was actually pretty fucking scary.
Mouth of Madness is good, but the kind of cheesiness of the effects towards the end, but not right at the very end, kind of let it down a bit. It's one of the reasons I do like Romero's sort of middle period work, sort of the second and third Dead films and the original The Crazies and stuff. It's because he has that kind of documentary style, and something about the way he films kind of looks a bit like British television in the way it looks. It's got a very sort of cinema verite. You feel like it's real even when it looks wrong. Something about that I find very effective.
Day of the Dead is very underrated as one of his scariest zombie films. I mean, yeah, Dawn of the Dead is clearly superior, always will be. I have like 4 cuts of the film, watch all of them all the time.
Have you read the unshot alternative script for Day?
For Day or Dawn?
No, Day.
Day? No, not for Day. I did read some of the alternative cuts for Dawn, but not Day.
No, yeah, it's interesting, and there's some talk about maybe shooting that script after a suitable revision. The guts of it, pun not intended, are kind of similar to the Day that we got, but it's also different in a lot of interesting ways. Like it opens with a fishing boat instead of a helicopter, sort of coming into dock, trying to find out what's going on, and they end up on an island, and they're trying to do what Frankenstein did with Bub, but on a larger scale to turn the dead against themselves. And yeah, it's interesting.
They kind of explored some of that in the final Romero film, zombie film.
There was Land, Island, and Diary, wasn't there?
Diary was before. Let's see, what Diary was after Land of the Dead, because it was Land of the Dead, Diary of the Dead, and then there was one more after that, which nobody remembers because most people didn't like it. And then he died.
Yeah, I quite liked Land. It's not great, but
it was fun.
It's a guilty pleasure.
It was fun. Yeah. I watched it in the movie theater. But I have been reading that his daughter is going to do one last film from him, because apparently he had a script for one more written up, and he died before they could shoot it. So I think they're working on it, or they're trying to get it put through and made. I can't wait. I hope they succeed. Romero was definitely one of the greats. I kind of think that he hit lightning in a bottle with his Dead movies.
It's a shame that the Dead movies overshadow so much of the other stuff that he did, like Martin, and those other films, because they're really good too.
I am gonna have to get going, guys.
Yeah, we all have to get going because it's we're already an hour and 10 in. But I enjoyed talking to y'all. Harmony, it was great seeing you again. Greg, I hope you get lots of Kickstarter buy-ins. No, you're good.
Yeah, thank you.
Grim, of course. I think we're on for tomorrow.
Yes, and you're running, right?
And I'm running, yes. Okay. I didn't get to run last week, so I had a Halloween thing ready for last week, and I got sidetracked. Couldn't do it, so I'm hoping to do it this week. If the stars align and I don't get curtailed again. But anyway, Y'all take care, everybody out there in YouTube land. Thank you for hanging out with us. If you're catching us on the replay, hey, please like and subscribe because I could use it. And
See ya.
see ya Tuesday.
On behalf of the staff of the Independent California Motel, I wish you all sweet dreams.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.